get started. Today we have very important guest today. His name is Sudhir sir.
Thank you, Manish, for having me in this channel. My mindset from the beginning was that I should impact a larger group of people. I had seen when this dam was created and first water started flowing in the canal. People were so happy. Their lives changed. They can see that how their life is going to change.
Compared to private sector, why railways, or I'm just talking about the government sector, why it moves very slowly? Is it because of the corruption? Is it because of something else?
Yes, corruption, no doubt.
Sir, also I see in the news these days a lot of accidents happen for railways. Maybe because of the mistake of the driver or the track, or a number of things can happen.
So these days are far, far better than what it used to be.
It used to be earlier. Let's get started. Thank you so much guys to be in my channel. It's called Mindfulness with Manish. Today we have very important guest today. His name is Sudhir sir. He has accomplished a lot in his life. He has been an IES officer, Indian Engineering Services, if you guys know. He has a lot of reputed designation in his career, ranging from being electrical engineering and then moved to public affairs as a master's, and then he's being director in Indian government. There's a lot of details that we can go into because every job has some challenges and some stress and depression, and some like especially the ministers, especially IES diplomats. So we can go into multiple domains, multiple things. There's a lot of learning that we can get from sir. So let's see how this episode goes. Thank you so much sir to be in my channel. Again, the reason why I started this channel, Mindfulness, is because the name means to be in the present moment, and every job demands to be in the present moment, because if we keep on thinking about the past or future, we will not be able to work. That's the problem people are facing these days. So I connect with a lot of people from different backgrounds, whether it's from yoga or travel or from being a government job or private job. Anywhere mindfulness comes in. Today the topic is all on your life achievements, challenges, and how you basically deal with those challenges and stress and stuff like that. But before we jump into your career and your path of success, let's go a little bit about your background, where you're coming from, basically where were you born, your initial days of your career, so that people have some background, and then basically we can dive into your career path. Yeah, please go ahead.
So thank you, Manish, for having me in this channel. It's really a pleasure to be with you. I have seen some of your videos, and the way you are connecting and bringing out this aspect of mindfulness to a large gathering of people, it's really a pleasure to see that.
Thank you so much.
Particularly as a young man, how you are bringing a change in the society through this great initiative. I think it will be very much appreciated, and this go a long way in bringing a change, in training people how to handle their growth, progress, at the same time live happily in present without worrying too much about the future,
Right.
without worrying too much about the unknown things which future sometimes create in their mind. So again, congratulations to you for doing this wonderful job. Well, I belong to a very humble family. My father was a civil engineer, and he was posted in Rajasthan in a place called Bhilwara. Bhilwara today is known for Bhilwara suiting and shirtings and many more things. It's a very developed society and entrepreneur society. So he, as a civil engineer, was in charge of making a lot of dams, water tanks that is called, in the city of Bhilwara and around. From the beginning, I had seen how hard work he was doing, how his conviction was creating new resources for the people at large. Rajasthan, as you know, is a dry area where water is really very important. Water can really change life to people. And he created a lot of dams in Bhilwara district.
For benefit of the people.
For the benefit of the people. And he was in very, very challenging position in one particular location called Jetpura. I had seen him working so hard that 17 kilometers he used to drive motorcycle in a dusty area which was almost 6-inch thick. And I had trouble with him when I was class 10 student at the time. So I seen that how his initiatives were bringing change in the people's life. And he also used to share the stories of his senior officers with us. So those initial days made me think differently. Made me realize that how a public servant's small steps, small initiatives, small contributions can have a large impact on the life of the people.
Especially the government officials.
Especially the government officials,
Yes.
public servants.
Public servants, yeah.
So I will tell you again the story of this Jetpura. I had seen when this dam was created and first water started flowing in the canal. People were so happy. Their lives changed. They can see that how their life is going to change. And how my father was picked up by these guys, these villagers, these farmers in their lap, and he was made a hero in that area. And
Nice.
in few days and months, I could see how their output of the farms grown.
Like the movie Sudesh, where Shah Rukh Khan was made the king of the village.
That's right. So this conviction grew in me as I did my engineering. I was lucky to be a good student and got into MNIT Jaipur. Did my electrical engineering, and as I was approaching towards my final years of the graduation, my conviction to serve as a public servant grew.
Okay.
Now the question came to me that I have two options: either to work in the state government or to work in the central government. Now, my mindset from the beginning was that I should impact a larger group of people, larger part of the society. And when you work in the central government, you handle issues which are countrywide important,
Right.
which have larger impacts.
It's more impactful, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I decided to work for the government of India.
This is during 1970, 80.
So 1985 was the time when, 84 was the time when I graduated.
When you graduated.
So I took my first exam in 1985, and God was kind enough to
It was first attempt.
I
It was IES of.
IES.
Got
I
it.
got selected.
Nice.
Now again, in the central government, I had two options: either to go as a civil servant through civil services, or to join engineering services as an engineer.
Okay, so as an administrator or a engineering
Yeah.
person, okay,
Yeah.
technical line.
Technical line. So I thought a lot about that, and my passion for engineering was too much. And because of my initial bringing up, maybe because of my conviction that engineers have a bigger impact in the society, and that's why I decided to join engineering services. And I stood third in my batch, rank 3. Again, I had the option what service I can choose, because engineering services offers you many variety of services, like Indian Railways can be there, military engineering services can be there.
Everywhere your expertise was in electrical. So you can be an electrical engineer in railways,
Yes.
or electrical engineering in petrol, something like that.
In CPWD
CPW.
or MES or telecom sector.
Got it.
So there are large number of engineering engineering departments which are covered by engineering services. So I decided to join Indian Railways because this is the lifeline of the country, touches life of everybody, and I knew that transportation is one bottleneck in the country. The transportation costs were large in this country. Because of that, the logistics costs were high. Exports were getting affected because of that. So I decided to join Indian Railway, which has a much large impact on the society.
Sir, one question. During that time, there was no craze of going out to the US or the.
So there are two things. The institutes various institutes will have various different kind of environments. Now, the institute which I was in, that is MNIT Jaipur, was having more of a government sector orientation.
I see.
Whereas another, which is the BITS Pilani,
They have
was
more,
having more of a international flavor, and people used to go out.
so it depends upon the environment you are growing up, you are
Yeah.
taking school. That's why Thapad, where I studied, a lot of people were Canadian influence, like
Yeah.
Punjabi.
Punjabis, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why, and US I went.
Yeah, that's right.
Please go ahead. I get it.
Yeah, so now the story, in fact, immediately after passing out from MNIT Jaipur, because since I was among the toppers in the class, so they were interviewed for the lectureship, and I got into lecturer job there, which was very handy to me, which really shaped up my personality in a different way, gave me a lot of confidence. And when you are a young lecturer and interacting with young students, they are not going to accept anybody.
Yeah.
The young students, because they want a professor or a teacher to be really excellent, otherwise they are not going to listen.
Right.
And even as a student, when I was being taught by young lecturers, sometimes I wasn't taking them seriously. So it was a challenge for me that how do I make these young guys listen to me? And I used to prepare a lot. I used to get thoroughly clear on each and every concept, and I used to sit as a student mentally, prepare myself as a lecturer, and then used to deliver.
So you were a lecturer
For about 2 years before joining Indian Railways.
Okay, so basically the career path was you chose IES and then basically engineering service and railways, but before railways you were a lecturer.
Yeah.
In which college?
So of MNIT Jaipur.
MNIT Jaipur.
Because once you take the exam, 1985 I took the exam, it takes about 2 years for the results to be declared.
Okay.
So it was in 1987, rather 1986 end when the results were declared. So I had sufficient time. So in December 84, I joined as a lecturer after passing out from the college, MNIT Jaipur. In the same college, I joined as a lecturer.
Got it. Understood. Yeah.
So, and my father again was very helpful to me in this journey towards IES. Because there was a time before joining a lectureship and passing out from the college, around 5-6 months, when I had decided to join IES, but I had no job, so obviously I had no money in my pocket. So my father deposited some
money.
10,000 bucks for me. He said, "This is good enough for you for 1 year."
During that time. Yeah.
So our expenditure used to be around 500 rupees per month. So that was such a good job which he did. Because of that, I could concentrate on my studies totally. And because of that, later on after joining lecture, I started learning, and then things became much smoother.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So why not? So while you were giving IES exam or IES services, IES is also another thing.
This is called civil services.
Yeah.
So civil services platform has many services like IAS, that is Indian Administrative Services, IPS, Indian Police Services, Income Tax, Customs, all those kind of services are covered through the civil services exam.
But the exam is different, right, for IES and for civil service. So did you try giving the civil service?
Yeah, I tried civil services
UPSC.
also.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think once I tried that.
Got it. And then you went into IES because you cracked that.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of happiness in your family during that time? Like a lot of people, your families were coming and saying congratulations. There's one kid who has cracked this kind of high reputed exam or something like that.
So it's not only my family, but my extended family of my friends, my college students, because I was a lecturer at the time. So all of them were looking forward that I should get selected, because they used to connect, if this guy can't do it, then we may not be able to do it. So it was very important for them to see that this guy do it. And once I did it, there was a lot of jubilant in my friend circle, in my colleagues, my lot of other lecturers, obviously in my family.
Right.
My family was looking forward to it that I should get into this service. My father has a dream that I should become a group A service officer. He started his journey from a much lower rank as a junior engineer and then graduate to assistant engineer and then executive engineer.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is IES is a grade A officer, right?
He's a group A officer.
Group A officer.
Yeah.
Like we have a perception, like as a civilians, like as a common man, private people, job people, everyone gets a red beacon car.
Well, the red beacon car is generally not given to all the group A officers, but senior group A officers get it.
Got it.
So, like in the Indian Railways, the DRMs, the Divisional Railway Manager will get it.
Got it.
And in some states, like in UP, many officers are given.
Okay.
So
it depends upon the states to state and
Yes.
designation to designation.
Yes.
Got
So
it.
they were liberal states like UP, Uttar Pradesh,
Got
but but normally you'll get when you are in the senior.
In the senior grade, not at the junior.
In the
got it.
IAS service.
Got it, got it. So then you basically joined in Indian Railways as you're starting as a
Yes.
career. So after Railways, what was your path of your career after Railways?
So immediately after joining Railways, we have 2 years training program, which is called a probation time. And I can tell you this was one of the most important, funnest time of my life.
Is it a training time?
It's a training time.
Okay.
So there's a training program chalked out and various facilities across the country of Indian Railways, you are made to visit to them 1 week to 3 weeks, maybe around 8 weeks also sometimes. And then you interact with all the senior officers there, see how things are being done there, visit all the facilities. And that was one of the funnest time of my life because I visited all the major facilities of Indian Railways.
Got it.
And the Indian Railways have a very different kind of flavor. I tell you a very interesting story. Once I was traveling by train and I had no reservation. So I was sitting as we were sitting together and the gentleman nearby my side asked, where's your seat? I said, I have no seat. And then the TT, the ticket checker came and then he asked me, what about you? I said, I'm so and so. I'm a railway probationary officer. And he immediately gave me a vacant seat. So he asked how, he doesn't know you and how has he done it? I said, Railways, which is a family of around 15 lakh, that is 1.5 million people, works on the culture, works on the principle of a family. And everybody in the Railways will look after the other person. And this whole lot looks to be so diverse and different, but works on a single tune of serving.
Got it. So basically what you're trying to say is like during that time he treated you as a family. So you got
Yes.
the ticket. Okay.
Yes. So that is how. So during my training time, probation time, when I was visiting various places, all the senior officers will invite us for a lunch or dinner at their home, and this will create a personal sort of bond.
Relationship, bonding,
Yeah.
that is very important.
And you never felt that you are far from the home. Any place in the country, and you at every point of time you knew people across the country.
Right.
So you feel at home everywhere. So that was a big strength of this organization.
Got it.
And then I also visited large number of places in the country, seen all the cities, places of interest around and things like that.
Got it. So railways is a very like what do you call? It's a ministry which is very dense and requires a lot of like effort because connection and traveling is something everyone does. And we're talking about 80s, 90s era, right? Railways right now is more developed than that time.
Yeah.
So my question is like your part was only electrical engineering, right? Not infrastructure development, right? So do you see any changes that time and this time? How the railways has evolved?
So railways have around 4 or 5 main engineering streams. Now, normally people grow in these streams up to the level of additional divisional railway manager. And thereafter, people move from the main technical stream to this administrative level position, which is additional DRM, division railway manager, and general manager.
Got it.
So, and these positions of additional manager, additional DRM, GMs, all these positions are general administration, and you are in charge of development of the complete infrastructure. Whether these are the railway lines, electrification of the lines, or running of new trains, maintaining
You're in charge of everything.
Coach facility.
Got it.
So you are the in charge of the complete division, and the division will have all these expertise available through the various technical officers, and then you manage the whole system.
Got it.
So this is how you get converged in the two. So everybody get a chance to really contribute immensely in the development of the infrastructure.
Got it. Why, like compared to private sector, why railways, or I'm just talking about the government sector, why it moves very slowly in terms of development? Is it because of the corruption? Is it because of something else?
Well, somehow I don't agree on that. If you see this country, how we are bringing a change every day in people's life. Things are moving very fast. You can see that how much highways are being created in this country, more than 30 kilometers a day. Railway line, almost more than 10 to 12 kilometers a day per day is being created.
Okay.
So it's a huge creation which is happening. And the financial models which are also being developed and designed are PPP oriented, public-private partnership.
Right.
So public money is also being utilized for development of the system. And I can tell you that the decision making in the government sector sometimes are much faster than the in the private sector.
I see.
And another beautiful thing which I will tell you that the powers which are available to the officers in the government is far more than what is available in the private sector.
Exactly. Yeah, that is
the financial decisions which are done in the government are huge, much larger values, and these are done in a consultative manner, in a much faster manner. So, because the government sector decides to develop infrastructure or to serve people without profit all the time in the mind. Whereas the private sector,
the only thing about the profit. That is a good point.
So the government sector thinks the creation of value for everybody. So because of these different philosophies, the government sector sometimes I find that much faster.
Right.
The positions in which I had worked, I see that how swiftly we used to take decisions. And Indian Railways is an organization which works as a commercial organization also, as a business organization also, and as a public utility also.
Right.
So it is having a dual path on which it works. It's a very tough job it is doing. And today, the services which are being provided by Indian Railways are one of the cheapest in the world. Despite all the competitions, it is profitable.
Right.
And I share you another interesting fact. When I joined Indian Railways in 1987, it was handling 200 million ton of freight with a manpower of around 1.5 million people. Today, after 36 years, it is handling 1600 million ton of freight with only 1.3 million manpower.
So the manpower
has come down.
Yeah.
It has come down.
Okay.
And the freight handling has gone up 8 times. 8 times.
How Indian Railways is handling that?
So, induction of technology.
More advanced.
Much more advanced technology is now being used in the coaches. And because of that, the failures have come down tremendously. The trains do not have any problem. They just come and go. So our life has become far more simpler, easier. So induction of technology has been one of the key factors in improving the asset reliability, in increasing the facilities to the people at large. So this is how the whole scenario has been changed on the Indian Railways.
Got it. Sir, also I see in the news these days a lot of accidents happen for railways. Maybe because of the mistake of the driver or the track, or a number of things can happen. Was this a problem before also, like in 80s, 90s, or this is happening right now more?
Yeah, so reliability of the assets has been an issue.
Hmm.
In the earlier days, it was far more difficult, and as the induction of technology has kept on growing,
Hmm.
more and more investment has been made. The reliability of the assets have grown much better.
Much
now.
better now. Okay.
The record has kept on improving,
Hmm.
and it is also improving with every day passing now. And accidents, leave aside a one bad accident, which is a manpower or man-created accident.
Hmm.
Otherwise, the accidents have now become very rare in the neighborhood. The reliability,
Is
the
more.
safety has now gone much better.
Got it.
So these days are far better than what it used to be earlier.
It used to be earlier. One thing, if you want to change in railways, what would that be?
So that will be basically improving the skills of the people.
Hmm.
When I was a young officer, around 12 years of service, and posted in Delhi division, so I had an interaction with my team. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses?
Hmm.
Now, what came out distinctly was that lack of training, lack of superior skills availability with the manpower.
Hmm.
So, reskilling, induction on new technology is the key thing which requires to be done on a continuous basis. Though railways have put in a lot of efforts on training of the manpower, but this is one area where a lot more can be done. And once we reskill our manpower to next level, I think we can build the capability hugely. And once the manpower's capability is grown, multifacets,
Then the possibilities is
you have
endless.
the change environment.
Right.
So one of the things which good thing which private sector is getting is that they are able to induct fresh manpower. They can change people.
Right.
When the government sector, you have to use the same manpower. So we have to reskill these people. That is what is, I think,
Got it.
required.
If you want to change, or if you want to go back and change one thing in your life in the railways career, we will come to another career path that you chose. But in the railway career, what would that be?
And the railway career, I think I'm very much satisfied, and I enjoyed my postings, and I've got a lot of challenging. One other thing which I will tell you, that when I got posted in the Ministry of Railway, the then Minister of Railways asked me to do something which was not done earlier, to bring down the cost of electric traction power. Because we were buying power at the rate of around 7 rupees, and this was a major expenditure of the railways. Around 10,000 crore was being spent on the purchase of power.
Buying power from where?
From the state governments,
Okay.
state subsidiaries.
So government pays to government also.
So these are state bodies which are selling power.
Yeah.
So they are working independently under the state
So you have
governments.
to pay them.
Yeah. So we buy power from them, and then we.
Right.
So this is called that we have to do some open access activity, so that we can buy power from other sources and bring down the cost of power. And this is one area which totally took best out of me. I had to put so much of my mind, connect with a lot of people, create strategies, involve PMO and other people across the country, and then work out a method so that state governments, which they didn't want to lose on their higher tariff, and best paymaster, railways is the best paymaster, they didn't want to lose on that. At the same time, we have to negotiate a different tariff. And with the help of all these people, we could do that. That was a very involved exercise which I did. And I remember that I was working almost morning 8 o'clock in the evening. And once we started getting open access, for many state governments, the tariff started coming down, and we brought down the tariff from rupees 7 to rupees 5 per unit, bringing down the energy bill from 10,000 crore to 7,000 crore, savings of around 41,000 crore over a period of 10 years. The biggest impact which it had is that the government decided to go for 100% electric traction across the country in the Indian Railways, which is Indian Railways is the first railway to do it. It is almost going to achieve it very soon, and this will bring down the total energy bill by almost 40%. So energy bill, diesel plus electric was around 25,000 crore, electric 10,000, 15,000 for diesel, which will now come down to around 15,000 crore with electric traction.
Still now 2024, not 100% Indian Railways is electric, right?
It's going to be.
It's going to be
Yeah,
in the
that's
future.
right.
What is the percentage right now, roughly?
It's almost 90% electric.
90%.
traction.
Okay. Major trains like Shatabdi, Rajdhani, they all are electric. Got it. Got it. That sounds good. Is that the biggest achievement that you have done?
I feel that this is one of the biggest achievements which I have done in my career.
Got it.
And this really changed because this is the whole balance sheet of the Indian Railways
Changed.
changed.
Were you being called by the Minister of Railways to like say thank you so much for doing that or something?
The Honorable Minister was very kind enough at the time to invite me in his room, had a chat like this for almost an hour, and discuss many more things
To be done in the future.
to be done in the future. And he recognized my effort in various forums also.
So, sir, basically, ministers are not the one who are doing the job. It's the
I won't say so. I mean, the political leadership is key for any change.
they are the one who is investing the money, and you need blessings for them and stuff like that. But actual work is done by the administrators like you, is it?
Well, I will say that political leadership, along with the top bureaucrats, decides the path on which one should go.
So you should have to convince them.
Yeah,
The strategy
but
that you
at the
wrote.
same time, I find that political leadership is many times far more knowledgeable.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, many times. Yeah,
Many times.
and they, because of their wider interaction with the people, they understand people's aspiration far
More.
better.
Like for example, currently the finance minister, I like him a lot.
Yeah.
S. Jaishankar.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Jaishankar is the foreign minister.
Sorry, foreign minister. Yeah. Even finance minister is also very knowledgeable. Right now, BJP NDA government is like all the ministers are nice. Yeah, I really like if the minister is knowledgeable. Then
And I can tell you that nobody can become a minister or MP without being knowledgeable. Let's be very clear on that front.
yeah,
Everybody who comes in the public life and reaches to the higher levels is very, very knowledgeable,
yeah.
very well connected with the people,
Hmm.
and a much wider perspective of the things than the people who are working in their own streets. That's what my feeling is. And I found that the politicians are very important in deciding what path we have to go. And with their, the political leadership really provides the futuristic ideas many times. And
Got it.
they really, with their support only things can be done.
Have you got any pushback or challenges in this career, like in the railways career?
The challenges in the government services are always there.
Always there. You have to convince.
So when you come up with the big ideas, big projects, a lot of questions are being asked, and this is good.
Which is good.
Yeah, because conviction, your own conviction alone is not sufficient, and it is always good to have a 360-degree discussion view of the people across.
So basically, how you convince them? Is it the document that you write, or is it meeting format?
Yeah. So initial is that you develop an idea, talk with your own team, and team gives you ideas back. You should be ready to listen to those ideas. Once you have a good interaction, healthy interaction, you develop a document. Then take it to your seniors They provide some more insight into that, some solution to that. Then, obviously, if a proposal has a finance investment, then the finance people will come into that, and then there's a dialogue with the finance wing. They provide their own solutions into that,
Right.
and then based on the push and pull, what money you have in your pocket,
Then you decide the
what are the
summary of it.
benefits,
Yeah.
and then you create a document saying that what kind of benefits this is going to accrue on the financial benefits will be, what kind of financial benefits will be there, what kind of social benefits will be there, and then you.
So similar to private, because I only always worked in private. You have a manager, you have a team, you have to convince all the stakeholders, and then write a document, align with people, have a meeting, do whatever you want, get the things done.
Yes.
Exactly, in the government also works the same. So you also used to have a manager also.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, I have a boss out of the time, a
Boss.
senior officer.
Senior
He will be
officer.
my boss and his
Got
boss. So there is a complete hierarchy in the system.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I never, your father was a civil engineer, my father was a businessman, so nobody was in the government office.
Okay.
So I was always born in private or business family. But now if I want to go back, I think I love my country, so maybe I would like to change and be a part of government services, because you impact a lot. And then travel also is another part which you get to do a lot, which is fine. So after railways, basically what changed? I know from your background, you like after doing your bachelor's, you also did public affairs, master's in public affairs. Does that happen after railways, before railways? What?
So the interesting thing in the government of India is that once you have group A officer, you might be moving in a stream, like I was electrical engineer, I was working in the Indian Railways, but once you reach to a particular level, you can move across the platforms. You can go in the civil services zone as well. So there's a civil services which inducts IAS and all that.
Right.
So once you're a group A officer, even in Indian Railways, you can move to the civil services side as well.
Got it.
So
But civil service is a different, like paper, different exam.
yeah,
Right? How can you?
Yeah, you given that. So once they take that exam, they also become group A officer. At one level, all group A officers are considered similar. So because to run any system, you require variety of people. So the government has, I think, with a lot of consultation, decided that people from engineering background, people from infrastructure background, people from transportation background, they should also come to the civil services side and contribute in a different manner.
Right.
So because of these provisions, I was lucky enough to be selected as a director in the Ministry of Defense. And I was given the charge of procurement of weapons, aircraft for Indian Air Force.
Wow.
So that was another interesting tenure which I had for almost 4 years.
That was 4 years.
4 years from the Ministry of Defense. And in this tenure, I got a chance to do a master's program with full government funding.
So it was at a full-time thing?
It's a full time.
So you went there 2 years?
I went to US for 1 year.
1 year, okay.
So it was a master's program for 1 year in public affairs. I did from University of Minnesota, Minneapolis. And this was one of another finest time of my learning. So I saw how the US government, their department, their wings work, and what kind of learnings we can bring back and bring a change in our system.
Is that something that every bureaucrat can go under after a certain point of time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They can go outside and...
So yeah, every group A officer can switch to the civil services side. And many people do it. And yes, there is a process of selection, and based on some criteria, they do carry out selection.
Sir, in your entire career, have you said like no to something? Like, I will not do this. Has this ever happened? And why?
So there was a very interesting story. In fact, when I was a young officer, I was also used to think that one should think of saying no. So when I was in Delhi Division, which is one of the toughest division of Indian Railway, I was asked to do a certain job. And I said, sir, this is not feasible. So my senior told me, well, Sudhir, you are a engineer.
Hmm.
You can tell me that you know that there is nothing impossible, but to make anything impossible, you need to do something, you need to put in some resources.
Hmm.
So resources will have some money,
Hmm.
okay? It will require some money, finance. So you can't tell me that it can't be done. You tell me just how it can be done.
How
What
it
kind of
can be.
resources you want?
Right.
How much money you want?
Hmm.
I know you don't have those resources with you, but
What is the delta? How
yeah,
much you want? Yeah.
But you tell me what do you want?
What is required?
If I can do it, I can give you. I will ask you to do it. If
Hmm.
I can't give it, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't tell me that it cannot be done. So that was a big lesson for me,
Hmm.
and I realized that there is nothing which can be said no. Everything is yes, but for yes, there are some resources required,
Hmm.
some financial inputs required.
Hmm.
You have to work it out whether that is feasible at that point of time or not.
Got it.
So you as a leader,
Hmm.
as a technocrat,
Hmm.
as a supporting team member,
Hmm.
should work out and tell what is required to be given input
What is to be given? Yeah.
for this particular job.
Right. And in entire career, was this the last? Like, what was the highest post that you have achieved?
So after working in the Ministry of Railways as Executive Director,
Hmm.
I was empaneled again in the Government of India as for the position of Joint Secretary.
Hmm.
And I was lucky enough to be picked up for the Ministry of MSME as Joint Secretary. So MSME is micro, small, medium, and micro.
This is an initiative started by the PMO on startups, right? Funding startups.
No, this is not on the fund startups.
Okay.
This was the ministry created somewhere 2006 or so, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was earlier.
So because MSMEs are the people which are the industry's backbone.
Hmm.
They are today the main producer of everything.
Hmm.
They are the main supply chain to all the large companies.
Hmm.
So this is one of the very important ministry of the Government of India.
Hmm.
And I was picked up because of my engineering background in this ministry to set up some skilling centers
Hmm.
across the country.
Got it.
So there was a World Bank funded program for around 3,000 crores
Hmm.
to set up around 20 centers
Hmm.
across the country, large skilling centers, and we did a wonderful job in bringing these centers in a very small time,
Hmm.
and with facilities for AI and VR, AR, all those kind of things we created in these
Hmm.
skilling centers.
Got it.
So, and then further we enhanced this scheme to by another 6,000 crore rupees
Hmm.
to set up around 200 centers across the country.
Sir, the joint secretary, if you can explain in the layman term, is it near to the minister or something? Like every minister has a assigned secretary, right?
So every ministry has a hierarchy. Minister heads the ministry,
Yeah.
and then he is assisted by a secretary,
Hmm.
and the secretary is assisted by additional secretary and
Hmm.
joint secretary.
Okay.
So normally a ministry will have a medium-sized ministry will have one secretary rank officer.
And secretary is IAS officer.
Secretary is normally an IAS officer,
Hmm.
one or two additional secretary rank officer,
Hmm.
and few joint secretary rank officers.
Hmm.
In the Government of India, the structure is like this: that the joint secretaries are key department or wing
Hmm.
in charges, and they play a very pivotal role in getting things done.
Hmm.
They frame the whole scheme.
Hmm.
They develop the complete thought process behind a
Hmm.
project, and they are also in charge of implementation for such kind of schemes.
Got it. Got it.
So the Joint Secretary in the Government of India is a very
Very important position.
portfolio.
And that is the highest.
So I worked as Joint Secretary, and then while working as Joint Secretary, I got two more chances to work as CMD,
Hmm.
as CMD NSIC.
Hmm. We can pause.
Yeah.
I can take this.
Sorry for.
It's fine. We can add it. So you were talking about
So I worked as CMD of NSIC
CMD. Yeah.
as the additional charge to my joint secretary's position. Thereafter, I also worked as chairman of core board for about 2 years. So both of these positions were parallel to my joint secretary tenure
Got it.
as additional charge.
Got it.
And after completing my joint secretary tenure in the Ministry of MSME, I came back to Railways, and it was as a promotion. I went to my training institute. So there is a training institute for electrical engineers in Nasik. So I was posted there as dean in the HAG rank. So that was my
Nice.
last tenure, and
Then you got retired.
then I got retired.
What was your favorite position among all these?
I'll say the favorite was Ministry of Railways as executive
Railways.
director
Okay.
and the joint secretary in the government.
That's where you got a lot of challenges, a lot of
That's right.
impactful work, which we talked about.
Yes, that's
Right.
That's right.
Talking about the finances, basically, people outside, they think that people like bureaucrats, ministers, the salary that we get is not a lot. So basically, but there's a lot of perks out there
Yeah.
which government pays you. What are some of the perks? Like it's house and car and servants, right? Is that true?
So, if you see from the public perspective, and if you compare with any equivalent rank officer in the private sector, the salaries are
Higher.
pretty modest in the government sector. Facilities are also similar what you get in the public, in the private sector, because private sector, in the senior position, private sector also gives you a vehicle, a chauffeurable
Yeah, yeah.
vehicle in India.
Senior position gives you that.
Yeah. So similar positions in Government of India also you get a chauffeur-driven
Yeah.
car. And then in Indian Railways there was a provision for earlier for a domestic support as well. Now that has been changed in a different manner. But that is what two main perks one can say. But that's all. I mean, there's
Got it.
nothing great perks that way.
Have you seen corruption in the department?
But I'll say that in the government, people the salary today are pretty modest and good if you compare with the expenditure which one has to do in his life, day-to-day expenditure. The salaries I'll say are pretty good. They are not inferior to by any standards. And if one utilizes the money available to him or her in a proper manner, do some savings,
There's no need of additional money.
invest money
Invest.
properly.
Yeah.
I can share that in my profession days only, few officers saved sufficient money, and they could buy a small plot, a small flat, with little support from the family.
Right.
And that grew over a period of time nicely. So a smart investment done, smart savings, you can live very sufficiently, very nicely.
Got it.
There is no challenge on the money front. And I can tell you that people raise this point of corruption. Yes, there is corruption, no doubt. I can't say that this is zero. But in the higher ranks, the corruption is
Less.
very, very less.
Yeah, it looks like
And-
it's very less in the higher ranks.
And in the railways, I can say that it is almost zero in the higher ranks. And the way the digitalization has brought in, it is creating a lot of benefits and doing away with the corruption at every stage. More and more induction of digital form of doing things will keep on reducing the corruption in the system.
And also, I feel like digitalization and mobile phone everyone has.
Yes.
So accountability is something which basically is good right now.
Yeah.
Because whatever decision you're taking, you have to be accountable to your manager.
Yes.
It's not like everyone has the power to do like infinite things or
Yeah, that's
powerful.
right.
It's like every IAS or IAS officer is powerful to implement whatever they want. It's not like the case, right? You have to convince your manager and
Obviously, I mean,
you have to pass to the hierarchy.
yeah, I mean, any financial proposal has to be
Sign.
discussed at length, and the finance wing, your own superiors, your own team members down the line have to be convinced whether you can push ahead with any kind of any financial.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's not that anybody thinks that he want to do this kind of thing and he is able to do. No, I mean it has to be justificable. Everything, the benefits which are going to be given, which are going to come because of any investment, that has to be discussed at length. Only then that will go through.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. As the topic of today's discussion was mindfulness.
Yeah.
So mindfulness, how do you implement mindfulness practices? Because I'm talking about the stress and depression kind of thing. Sometimes you, like you said, 8 to 8 job, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Giving time to family is also very important. How do you balance all these things? Managing stress, managing family, and being mindful. How you used to do that?
So there's a one interesting difference with the government sector, with the private sector, between the government sector and the private sector. Indian Railways, as I said earlier, is a great family. So during the day you might have some tensions, you might have a discussion, sometimes the discussion becomes hot also. So one of the things which is being taught during the training is to be respectful to each other, to listen to each other's point of view, and do not just discard because a point of view has come from a subordinate or a person who may not be considered so expert in that area. Like the finance person, he is not a technocrat, but he can also give very good ideas. So you're taught to listen properly. This is one important thing. Now another thing is that because of this family culture, and in the Indian Railway there's a strong club culture also. People visit club in the evening. You have again very light moments, discuss the issues, maybe the complex issues of the day
You discussed
are sorted out on a
that
drink
way.
in the evening.
Nice.
So that is a
Best thing.
totally different kind of a environment. And people don't carry all those things of the day's discussion fight in the evening.
So senior, junior, everyone comes in the same ground and they discuss with a drink.
So I tell you, in my initial posting at Diesel Locomotive Works Varanasi, the general manager was very, very open to talking to anybody. I was a very young officer, the junior most in that club evenings, in those club evenings. And he was the senior most with a career of around 35 years plus. And even then he will make us feel so comfortable, as if we are his children. He will talk to my family, my wife, as if she is his daughter. In that time only, my wife became pregnant, and then we were on the family way. And he will make sure that what we should do so that we become good parents. He will teach us all those kind of things. So the whole environment was like that everybody is part of each other.
Right.
Everybody is brother, sister. So there's a strong family culture in the Indian Railways, which makes you very, very
It's still there.
still there, still there. Anybody going from any part to other part. I remember when I was in Delhi division, one of my staff became sick in Chennai. He was just a Group D staff. I just gave a ring to my counterpart in Chennai division. He said, "Don't worry, sir. We'll take care of this boy. He's sick. He will be taken to the hospital and will be taken care of fully." His family was then, flown from here to Chennai, and then everything became so comfortable. So from bottom to the top, this family culture reduces the impact of pressures.
Reduces. Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is one
exactly.
important thing.
Right.
Another thing which we have seen is that the help provided by your colleagues, personal help and professional help, both the fronts. So because of that also the tension creations are much less. You are able to handle complex issues
Scenarios.
also in a
Right.
much simpler, easier manner.
Right.
So these two things are
very important
very
to make
important.
your life
Yeah.
good, blissful, mindful, and stuff like that. Any advice you want to give to someone who wants to pursue a career same as yours into this path, railways or IES? Any advice to the current generation? We are living in 2024. What do you want to give?
So I find today that a lot of young people are more interested in going to the private sectors. A lot of people are coming to the government sector also, and then, but the people who are coming to the government sector should know two things. One, whatever they do will have larger impact on the public. Their contribution will be immense to the society, will make so much of big changes for the ordinary people that they will always love seeing this thing happening. As a person, I am happy, most happy when I see ordinary people happy. So, if you have a liking, if you want to see the change in the society, want ordinary people to become happier, then I think government sector is the best. Saying so, there is a huge competition for people to join these good services.
Yeah.
So one has to prepare hard for it. You have to work very hard, devote time in preparations. And since a lot of people are devoting 8 to 10 hours in their preparations and they are not taking up any job, they're doing almost full time these preparations only.
Stress level increases.
So you must be aware that
financially,
that you are competing against these people who are devoting 8 to 10 hours for this competition. So you should be ready to devote much more time. You have to act smart, you have to work hard in a manner so that you are able to achieve the target you're looking for.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is there a way, like for example, if somebody working in a private sector at the age of 30, 31, 32 wants to come in the government sector as a Group A officer, civil servant path close that is 30 for general, right?
Yeah, that's right.
What are the other paths people can take to become a Group A officer?
So, Government of India recently, in fact, earlier also this was there, that they induct experts in the various cadres parallelly. Even in joint secretary level, they induct people directly. I remember somewhere in 2019 or 20, they inducted around 10 people as joint secretary, and they were experts in the various fields.
In their field.
They were working in the private sector, in the public, even public limited companies.
That is another path.
Yeah,
People
so-
looking at the
yeah.
vacancies and
Yeah,
stuff.
so one can do that. And then now a lot of these public sector units, PSUs, they take people at director, they take people in various cadres, various
Directly.
levels. Yeah. So in the PSUs, one can induct, one can join PSUs. Any private person can join PSUs at various levels, grow to the level of director, and then maybe CMDs, and they can serve.
So basically, again, they have to clear the exams, interviews, and stuff. That is given the take, and the competition will
Yeah,
always
so
be there.
PSUs normally, when they induct at senior positions, they have interviews, but generally not exams. The interviews obviously are there. Yeah.
One last thing is, right now, as you mentioned, the younger generation is going more towards the private sector. Also, there's a flux towards going outside to the US or abroad, Canada, whatever. What do you think about that? As in, is that a good thing or bad thing? Or do you think the love for the country is decreasing, increasing? Or do you think that people will come back once after some time? What do you think?
So India today is the largest population. We are again one of the most intelligent group of people. You must be aware that around 1250 countries, 1250 largest companies of the world have their R&D headquarters in India. So we are the largest brain of the world today. We obviously are fueling the software everywhere in the world. So we are a group of very intellectuals, high level intellectuals. I remember when I was doing a master's in US, we were 4 of us in the class. So the day one, professor said, "Oh, you guys Indians, oh, you're all A plus. You're all A plus."
Why?
Then he said, "You have to prove that you are Indian."
Okay.
Means
Because you have a standard.
yes. So Indians have today set up a standard across the world that they are so intelligent that in every program they get A plus ranking, A plus uh, uh, grades only. So, having said all these things, today we are again a very young country. Our people are getting educated at a very fast pace. But at the same time, there's a lot that we can learn from the world. So when our people go out, they interact with another developed society.
Right.
And in the whole process, they learn a lot. Some of these people come back. Some of these people may not come back, but they interact with their community, with their sisters, brothers, with their fellow colleagues. In that process, they transfer a lot of knowledge to people here. So this interaction is something which is very, very important for enrichment of this country, for growth of this country. So I do not see
that's a problem.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem, rather that's good. And this interaction, I know, will be full circle in coming days when the people who have gone out will start coming back.
Right. That will prove that India is growing.
Yes. And I tell you, in this particular society in which I am living, almost 25% people are those people who have come back after serving in US for almost 15 to 20 years. So when I asked that why did you come back? They said that yes, we achieved financially what we wanted to achieve. Then we wanted to see something different. We wanted to serve our own people, my own family, and wanted to grow in my own system. So a lot of people are coming back. In my own relations, a lot of people have come back, served here, and after serving 20-30 years, they are now global. So this country, which had always remained global, has a potential to teach the whole world and learn from the whole world. Should this country have to remain global if it wants to grow? So people have to go out, explore and come back. I personally feel that this country has around 6 lakh villages. If we can send 6 lakh people from this country, one each from each village, to the globe, I think these people will change this country like it.
Tremendously, yeah.
Because every citizen of this country, when he go out, he wants that his village, his community grow, becomes developed. And then sitting there, he keeps on giving some inputs to the society. And that process really changes the things here. So this is a great strength that our people are creating globally by going out. And then many people are coming back also.
Like I went to US at the age of 21, 22, right now 32, 33 I am. It always goes in my mind, you have seen the entire world, I've traveled so much. Maybe it's time to come back. But it's always a thing, what will I do here? Again, a private job. Because infrastructure problem is still there. Like there's a lot of advantages over there, but the major disadvantage is family. Family is away, but I think like infrastructure and all is also improving here.
So yeah, I agree with you that infrastructure, the gap between the Western world or the developed world and India, there's a gap on the infrastructure front.
Right.
Things are changing fast.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that next few years, 5 to 10 years, the gap will come down a lot. Recently, I was in the US and I found that the cities are getting
worse
because of homelessness.
Yes.
Large number of people are homeless.
Same happening in New York, San Francisco. Breaking is happening. Car break-in.
And even the pavements which used to be good are not so good.
People are getting laid off.
Yeah. One of my briefcase when I was, putting it on the pavement, one wheel got broken because the payment quality was not good.
Hmm.
So the gap is coming down, the infrastructure in the country is growing, with larger number of people becoming educated, there's changes are happening in the society.
Right.
And I feel that a lot of people will start coming back.
Right.
People are coming back today, even today, but this number will grow much bigger in the coming.
Right.
And I tell you, one of my friend, after serving around 35 years in US, he is very keen to come back. Yes, there are challenges.
Family, children.
Children, all those kind of things. So he wants to come back. He devotes a lot of time in the country here. So coming back again has two aspects: full time, 100%, or maybe few months.
Some months, yeah.
So different levels will be there, but
Right.
people will come back in one or the other form.
Yeah, for me, like for example, in 12 months, I am here 4 months. 6 months
Yeah.
for green card, I have to stay there.
Yeah,
That is a
that's
rule.
right.
2 months here and there, other countries. So that's what I'm thinking. And then 6 months, my mom, dad also comes.
Yeah.
They also enjoy the US. So I think that is working right
Yeah.
now for me. We'll see how it goes. Cool, sir. I think it was nice having you. It was great topic. We discussed a lot. One last thing, any final thing, closing topic or
Yeah.
closing thought you want to give to the audience, or something which we haven't covered,
Yeah.
I haven't asked, or something I missed, you want to talk to the audience, you can discuss that.
So can I just
Yeah, sure. I can
two
edit.
points which I have in my mind. हैं तो बहुत सारे, लेकिन मैं
हाँ जी कोई नहीं, आपने तो काफी रिसर्च करी है.
ये तो मेरी असल में जो डेली राइटिंग्स हैं.
अच्छा.
I when
You
I
write
get-
a lot.
I write a lot nowadays, and I reflect on my own previous thought process with my studies and nowadays a lot of things happen spontaneous. तो वो spontaneous ideas आते हैं, then उसको हम लिख लेते हैं, फिर बाद में उसको develop करते हैं. Those things.
So you write also.
Yes,
And
I
read.
Yeah. Today I'm writing for myself. I'm developing a booklet
About your life.
about my thought process, about my life story, my life story as well.
I think you should write a book on your career
Yes,
path,
yes,
because
yes,
there has been a lot of like.
Yes. Almost 200 pages I already created.
Oh, nice.
So I need to edit
More.
and then.
Yeah.
So one thing which I would like to talk about is that in today's life, human interaction has become a challenge.
Social media.
Now, when I interact with you, do I see a human being in front of me? Or I see a subordinate? I see a superior? That is what my challenge is. If I can see a human being, then I will talk like a human being to another human being, without judging him continuously, respecting him in all his areas. So every human being wants love and affection, praise and respect. So in my interaction with anybody, if I can show some love and affection in my eyes, praise him, give him some respect, then I think this interaction will be very good. This will go in the positive direction. But if I, because of my being senior, because of my holding some positions today or tomorrow in the past, is not able to reflect upon these three things, I think this will not create a good bonding between two humans. So I feel today that everybody should, before interacting or while interacting with anybody else, look into these three aspects. Should give love and affection, show love and affection, praise him, pay respect. And should not follow the Newton's third law of every action having opposite reaction.
Because in yoga also there's something called karma yoga.
Yeah.
Karma yoga is like we are doing something niswart bhav,
Yeah.
without any selfishness, just being a giver. That's what it talks about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I'm talking a simple thing that I interact with the most ordinary person. Can I show respect to him?
Hmm.
I share a very small story. One day I was reversing my car
Hmm.
and I hit a cycle walker. I was thinking that he's going to get angry on me.
Hmm.
To my surprise, he gave me a smile. I felt so different. He said, no, if I was in his position, I would have fired him.
Hmm.
How did he hit my cycle? I fell down. I got hit. Just made me smile on me. So can I do this thing? If anybody hits me, can I smile back to him?
Hmm.
Yes, that was a great learning for me. So this is something that as we are becoming richer, more powerful, I'm not paying respect to my fellow citizens, fellow human beings
Hmm.
who are in the lower strata of the society. So I should be able to pay respect to even ordinary human being, show love and affection
Hmm.
to him or her. I think this, if I'm able to do, the whole society will be far more calmer,
Hmm.
at peace, and a lot of issues will be sorted out.
Right now, people are not doing that. I've seen that. Yeah.
Even in the families,
Yeah.
we are not doing it.
Hmm.
So I feel that if we do that, and small another thing that take freedom, give freedom.
Hmm.
If I can give my children a lot of freedom, having faith in them,
Hmm.
then possibly I'll be at peace.
Yes.
I'll be worrying less for them,
Hmm.
and they will also be able to do their best.
Hmm.
The other day I was taking walk in the garden, and one businessman met me. He said, "You guys are lucky; you can take retirement,
Hmm.
being in the government. We in the private sector, being a businessman, are not able to take retirement." I said, "Sorry, sir, this is not the case. You're not taking retirement because you don't have faith in your next generation.
Hmm.
And this is the reason you keep on doubting his or her capability. You don't want to empower him or her.
Yeah.
You don't want to transfer the power,
Mm.
and that's why you are what you are."
Right.
I also narrated him some stories of my interaction with various industry people across the country when I was joint secretary. That large number of, that many people, when they transfer the power to their younger generation, they change the whole industry. They grow multifold because the younger generation is far, far better than the older generation.
Hmm.
That is what my conviction is. The younger generation is learning new techniques, new methods. They are empowered. They have knowledge of new tools, and because of those kind of things, they are far, far better than the older generation. So, and third thing is that honesty is freedom.
Hmm.
If you do things honestly, whether in the family, whether in the organization you're working, whether in the society you're living, it gives you so much of freedom.
Do your work honestly. Hmm.
Live honestly.
Hmm.
Then you're free. There is no issues.
Hmm.
Then your mindfulness will happen automatically.
Hmm.
A lot of your tensions will go out.
Hmm.
You'll live in a much happier.
We don't have fear from anyone. If
We don't
you,
have fear.
yeah, that is true.
And then biggest thing is that a reputation is built across you. The Indian Navy used to say that your reputation moves faster than you.
Hmm.
So before you are posted at any place, people know that what you are.
Hmm.
So if you have a reputation of being honest, people know that.
This is a guy, honest guy coming to our office. Hmm.
So
Whatever we've seen in the movies,
Yes.
like inspector,
Yes.
IPS officer, and stuff like that. Yeah.
So that benefits you so much,
Hmm.
makes things so simple for you,
Hmm.
and life changes.
Right. Right.
I remember while I was in the Ministry of Railway, mm, my immediate boss had a very high reputation on integrity front.
Hmm.
So finance, which doubts any proposals, raises a lot of question.
Hmm.
They will do things very quick.
Hmm.
I said, yeah, why? I said, because that man has signed this file.
Hmm.
So we know that if that man has signed the file, it means there's nothing more you can ask.
Hmm.
Because that man has questioned this particular proposal. He has a reputation that he must have gone so much deep into it that
Same thing happens in private also. Yeah. Right. I've seen like some people when they join a meeting, aura changes. They know that this person is trustful.
yeah.
They know this person is technical or whatever be the
Yeah.
case, right? And some people are like fooling around. They know
Yeah.
like this is something
Yeah.
who's false people. That is true. Yeah,
So building these few values in the life.
it's very important.
Even again, if you want to create a new organization, like you're a young man, you're an entrepreneur. I know tomorrow you're going to create an organization.
Hmm.
Any organization can stand only when you have a right people.
Right people.
So right people will happen only when you build basic integrity of your organization.
Hmm.
So if you have people with right integrity, or you build the integrity of the people,
Hmm.
then you will grow automatically.
Right.
That's what my thought is.
Right. Cool, sir. I think it was nice talking to you, and we covered a lot of part about your life, about your challenges, your career, and everything. I learned a lot. I hope this conversation is good for you also.
Yeah, it was very useful to me.
And then I hope the audience also learn a lot from this. The conversation is never ending.
Yeah.
We can talk a lot. Maybe we should do another episode 2
Yes.
on life and how to live mindfulness. Maybe next time. But thank you so much, sir, for having me.
So thank you, Manish, for having me in this conversation, and I really loved the way you brought out various aspects and looked everything from 360-degree angle and raised many basic questions. I hope that I could reply to those questions in a right manner, and this conversation is useful for people, and obviously it was a good learning for me also, and I would love to have another session based on a lot of inputs which you might receive from the people.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right.